Mr. Hayden Wayne, it's time to get to the crux of the matter. If you are ready.
Yeah, I've got some stuff pulled up here, and what I'm thinking is I'll blast through this stuff real quick, and then we can talk about it a little.
Blast it.
So this is all about the UK censorship stuff, and I think we went over this on ABF's stream on Monday, but this is actually one of the better tweets that just very quickly summarizes things, and then I've got several other things to go through. Actually, let me just share.
Okay.
Where'd he go?
He shared himself right out of the stream.
All right, guys. So that's all you need to know.
He pulled a Naganol and he closed the tab on himself.
But yeah,
it's better than ending the stream.
Yeah. I did not end the stream.
Good thing he's not hosting.
Let me share my window here because it'll be quicker for me to just roll through these real quick.
Okay.
Right,
hold on. There?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yep. Okay. So Chiba Reviews tweeted this out. He said, "Let me summarize everything that's happened in the last week." Now, again, this is in regards to the mass censorship that we're seeing happening. Collective Shout contacts payment processors to get Steam and itch.io to remove adult games. Steam removes hundreds of games and creates an entirely new policy to lick the boots of payment processors. A day later, itch.io removes their entire adult game category, which was over 20,000 games, by the way. UK Online Safety Act comes into effect, restricting the internet for the entire country to quote-unquote protect children. Within 24 hours, UK creates a police task force to monitor political opinions of its citizens. Europe gets hit by age restriction in some sites too, and they find out restricted internet is coming for them as well. People find out American bill titled Kids Online Safety Act is introduced into Congress to do the same thing. Now, that was introduced about a month ago. Wikipedia is being asked to censor itself for the UK. Search engines are now stuck in safe mode for certain countries restricting the internet. Mouthwashing, which is a horror game on itch.io, is removed thanks to the payment processors and Collective Shout. The UK is trying to force American companies to censor themselves after the Online Safety Act came into effect. Then V came in with things that were missed that happened during the same time frame. The UK talks about banning VPNs. Russia talks about banning VPNs. Cloudflare asks to ban VPNs in the UK. Kids bypass the age verification with AI-generated pictures of Fortnite characters, making V believe that in the future, facial scan will be removed in favor of ID verification only. And he has a very good point there because there's been several instances of like people were using Gary's mod and bypassing the facial verification.
Yeah,
and if you've seen Gary's
faces,
yeah, it's not good.
I've seen that. It's great.
Itch.io removed thousands of games. Horror games are now banned. You've mentioned mouthwashing, but Fear and Hunger also got banned. There was also another game called Exhumed that got banned. There's several of them. Collective Shout claims innocence. They never wanted this. Ask people to stop engaging with them. The EU is passing a Digital Safety Act next year, which is the reason the sites are restricted. So once the act goes into effect, they're going to have some type of age verification. But for right now, what they've done is do a blanket, you can't access our website because you live here and we don't have the age verification. But the act is going to go into effect later and cause a lot of issues. Australia is passing an act as well, which will be just as draconic. And protests and anti-immigration topics, including a free speech in the UK Parliament by a politician, is labeled as not safe for kids, despite kids at the age of 16 being able to vote in the UK. So they slid in this the anti-immigration thing after they had already started censoring people. But now I've got a bunch of tweets for us to go through. Wikipedia is currently in a legal battle with the UK government to try and stop the platform being censored in the UK or even completely blocked thanks to the Online Safety Act. Under the new law, the UK media regulator Ofcom is poised to label Wikipedia as a Category 1 platform. that would impose the strictest content rules possible, such as age verification for users, identity verification for contributors, and censorship of harmful topics. We've also got Pirate Nation. Discord is enacting a new age verification system implemented under the UK's Online Safety Act to protect minors, mistakenly flagged the user as under 13 based on a facial scan, leading to a permanent suspension of their account despite prior ID attempts. And this guy Ghost said, so in an attempt to verify my age by having the Discord app look at my face, I was immediately permanently suspended. This is after trying to use my ID, which didn't work. I've sent in an appeal, but I don't know what that means. If I lose my account, I still don't. Okay. Anyway, I don't lose my account over this shitty system, I will crash out. And it looks like a lot of these people are going to be losing accounts because Discord has just decided that they are underage. Here, we have one of the people who has been speaking out against this, Representative Jim Jordan in the House. He has a whole thread on UK regulators threatening American companies with censorship. This started happening almost immediately. They had sent a letter to Rumble saying, we will be monitoring your position. We haven't reached a decision on what you're thinking, but we're watching you, Rumble. And Jim Jordan was not happy with that. He's gone over this a couple of times. Then we have Permaband. This is Julie Inman Grant, who is the mastermind behind this Orwellian plant. She is a CIA reject and a WEF stooge. All you need to know is to understand the type of person she is and what makes her tick. She was the one that was with the World Economic Forum that came out and gave that talk a couple of years ago that said, welcome to 2030. I own nothing. I have no privacy and life has never been better.
Holy shit, those eyes, fam.
Oh,
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Jesus.
It's always the eyes.
It is. And you can see it in these people. They're crazed, deranged lunatics that only care about control. So again, this is something that they're hiding behind trying to protect children, but really this is about control and being able to track everything that you do. Just in, YouTube will begin using AI to monitor user behavior and psychology to determine whether viewers in the US are over or under the age of 18. Yes, YouTube is implementing another AI, and we all know how well that has gone in the past, right? ABF, would you know anything about AI and YouTube and causing issues?
Yeah. If enough people already hate you and flag down your channel, it will look for excuses and things that look like firearms and hit you for a firearm policy. Even though
I don't know,
using
man.
it
I feel
for-
like you should just obey the policy.
I mean, they didn't yell at me for the other 50 times I had it in my intro. So
It's crazy. Taken down for one episode.
You know, I posted
that would just
that,
be the
and I
second
was
episode.
so scared that people wouldn't catch that it was a joke. Like, I legitimately, I posted it, I was like, oh, shit.
Well, so this is from YouTube's official blog. Here's how it works. We will use AI to interpret a variety of signals that help us to determine whether a user is over or under 18. These signals include types of videos a user is searching for, the categories of videos they have watched, or the longevity of the account. When the system identifies a teen user, we'll automatically apply our age-appropriate experiences and protections, which is YouTube Kids 2.0. Don't get it twisted. Including disabling personalized advertising, turning on digital well-being tools, and adding safeguards to recommendations, including limiting repetitive views of some kinds of content. If the system incorrectly estimates a user to be under 18, they will have the opportunity to verify that they are 18 or over such as using a credit card or a government ID. We will only allow users who have been inferred or verified as over 18 to view age-restricted content that may be inappropriate. So if YouTube AI mistakenly flags you as an underage user, they will apply YouTube Kids 2.0 to your account. And unless you put in your credit card, which obviously we all know has identifying information, or you submit a government ID, they will not allow you to continue to use YouTube freely. but it gets worse.
Real quick,
Spotify.
can you go back to that?
Yes.
So the way I read this is if I get on YouTube and it says I'm 16, I'm still going to be able to search for ABF or Neurotic or King's Advisors.
Unless
It's just not going to be something that is suggested to me if that stuff is viewed as 18 plus material.
right. Well, but that's the thing, right? They can
Right.
arbitrarily change what their definition is at any
Right.
time.
Exactly.
That's
But
the
I would
scary
still
part.
be able to find it if I'm looking for it. The problem does become that it really does harbor or hurt these channels who aren't able to be suggested if YouTube
Yes.
decides, well, we're just going to think everyone that ABF might be being suggested to is actually 16, so that he can't be suggested to them.
Right. It would be like if they determine that it's under the appropriate age, then they just will remove you from. Like I don't think they would even allow searches to show up, because if you look at YouTube Kids, you can't search for certain things. Like you can search for it, but nothing shows up in the search results, and it doesn't get suggested.
You know, now that we're kind of unpacking this, like it makes me think too that they also have a obligation to their shareholders as well to try to explore this, because that opens up more efficient advertising, being able to figure out the age of the people watching, right?
Well, but they can't advertise to kids, and theoretically, this is only to determine whether or not you are above the age of majority.
Well, that's exactly my point, though, is that they don't, there's missed advertising, and they won't miss, essentially, because they won't try to market to those kids.
Right, because they can't market to kids. That's that's one of their things, is like they're not allowed to throw advertisements in front of kids. That
are you not allowed to like show them like a Lego set for sale to kids? Is that...
I don't think they are, because they're like, so with my girlfriend's kids, I know they have YouTube on, like all of these fucking weird ass little things with like kids opening up toys and playing with them and shit, but there's no advertisements that are included. It goes from one video to the next video.
Well, it's just
so
like here on a live
Google
stream, like
says that
not worth it.
YouTube Kids does run ads, but they are specifically designed to not be like mature in any state. That they are catered towards children and extremely age appropriate. Like you get, like if this is the level that you have to reach to be an ad on YouTube, this is the level to be an ad on kids, YouTube Kids.
And that just reminded me, I may or may not have blocked all ads on all of the kids' devices as well. So that's probably why I don't see them.
Good man. Good man.
But we'll run through these last couple real quick. Spotify in the UK is currently restricting some music behind facial verification and ID. Age verification is required for content. Use our facial age check. If inaccurate, verify with ID.
Now,
so if
we
AI,
think that this is automatically music only, but they do have podcasts on Spotify. So that
and
might
books,
be part of
and
this.
Books.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's true.
Frankly, I don't care what it is, because
I know. Same here. I'm just just trying to come from where they're thinking.
Right. And Undoom says, don't worry about it. It's just to protect kids. Literally 5 days later, ID checking for listening to music. And yeah, you can say there's some music that has words that you wouldn't want kids to hear or something like that. But it's parents that
I don't think it's music. If it is, that's really egregious. But we do need to be precise on what we're talking about. And
for sure.
It might not be just about music in this case.
But there's also, don't give them an inch, because they'll take a mile.
Yep.
They do it every time.
Today it's podcast, tomorrow it's probably the music, but also music does have like a, an age rating, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you can't buy like the craziest rap album if you're under 17, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's 18 plus music or 17 plus
Yeah, it
music.
has that parental advisory sticker.
Not that anyone ever cared about that, but
but it also
My dad
has
did when I was a kid.
Yeah.
My dad was like, nope.
And it's just like the ESRB rating for video games and the
Right.
rating system for movies. It's there to be used as a guide for the parents.
Yeah, exactly. The parents are supposed to parent though, but sticking something behind facial verification, they want to scan kids' faces. Like if they want to scan everyone's
crazy,
faces, it's
Crazy.
weird. Like it's really weird. Then we've got Rep. Jim Jordan again. He said the UK censorship files part 2. And we'll get into what exactly it is that he's angry about. He's got a whole thread here. UK citizens become increasingly frustrated by a system of weaponized against them. UK authorities wanted big tech to censor discussions about immigration and narratives about the police and a 2-tier system. In recent years, UK citizens have become increasingly fed up with the double standard in the UK. Mean tweets get you a longer prison sentence than many violent offenses. Britons were rightly concerned about a justice system that treated government critics more harshly than violent criminals. So what did Keir Starmer and the Technology Secretary Peter Kyle do? New documents produced to the committee show that they tried to censor people who called out the UK's 2-tier justice system for what it was. So again, this is a representative of the United States of America coming out and calling them out, saying this is about censorship, which is a great thing to see.
Like Jim Jordan's one of the good ones.
He is. I'm keeping an eye on everybody right now because
there's some stuff I agree with him on.
Yeah, he just talks. He's like Tim Cruise. He talks a lot. He doesn't do a lot.
But
he says a lot. He says a lot.
There are several
people, politicians that are
in support of some acts that we don't have a ton of information on yet, though, that are in the U.S. House, and they were people that I liked as well. Monitoring private conversation in chat is an insane development. We know they can do it, but for it to become policy shows how far Europe and the UK have fallen. The EU could be scanning your chats by October 2025. Here's everything we know. When you purchase through links on our site, we may... Okay. That was not the link I meant to open. I meant to open the one that had a little bit more information. But basically, the EU is trying to go in and they're saying, okay, any chats that you're having online, we have the right to scan those. Use AI to determine if you're talking about something that we deem inappropriate. And if you are, we can request your ID.
Man, I'd be just sending dick pics all the time. You just never see it, you know what I mean? Fuck that. Dude.
In my I shouldn't even say that.
I was gonna say we only see one squinty eye in this picture, sir.
Oh my god.
And then here's one of the 2 bills that are currently in Congress. A new bill in Congress, the Screen Act. It's not actually new. It was submitted in February of this year. Distinct from the Kids Online Safety Act, which was submitted last month, I believe, is under consideration. If enacted, it would mandate comprehensive age verification for online access to safeguard children. So the U.S. also has 2 different bills, and this is the one that I'm worried about, Mike Lee, because I've agreed with him on a lot of things, but he also gets very censorship heavy in some instances. So I'm a little bit worried about this. I haven't read much into this bill because whenever I first looked at it, the entire bill was marked out. Like they had the middle line run through the entire thing, which they do that whenever something has been stricken and they're rewriting a part of it. And then the Kids Online Safety Act has no summary, no written text yet. But it does seem that the UK, Australia, the EU, the United States, everybody is starting to enact this stuff right around the same time. It feels like this is a coordinated effort.
The thing that I find really annoying about all this is, especially here in the United States, is there are several states that have already started this sort of process.
Yes, Texas for one.
Texas, South Carolina passed theirs in March of this year, I believe. Actually, no, it was last year. I think it was March of last year. And for the most part, I have agreed with the premise and the attempts by most of these laws, because the attack of, if you want to call it an attack, the prong of these laws is to attack pornography. And I think pornography is a terrible thing and is a curse on us as a species.
While I agree with
is,
you there, I think that this was never about pornography. I think that this was always about control for everyone.
Yes. So this is the issue.
It's like an excuse. They're using the porn as an excuse
exactly.
to.
So,
the road to
and the
hell
children as
is
well. They always
paved
use
with
the children.
good intentions.
these laws are clearly broad. They are overbearing, and honestly, in the U.S. version is unconstitutional. There's zero way this would pass strict scrutiny. The Texas and South Carolina law, though, are specific in their intent to prevent child access of pornography.
So,
And that's
real quick,
why. Yeah, go ahead.
this is King's Advisors.
Sure.
I'm not a legal expert, but I do know that there are different levels of scrutiny.
Yeah.
What are the levels of scrutiny?
So the 3 levels are strict, intermediate, and rational basis. And so, with freedom of speech being a enumerated right, which means it's written in the Constitution, any law that is passed that would affect freedom of speech has to pass strict scrutiny. Now, the Texas law was just upheld because the Supreme Court ruled that it did not affect freedom of speech, that it affected shit, I forgot what it was, but it was a bit of a wonky workaround. But because the Texas law is written relatively specific to porn, it was able to like get around it. Now, if it had been as I read the Child Safety Act, that's way too broad. That thing is not going to be able to pass muster, especially with this Supreme Court.
Right on.
Do you think it'd be one of those things where they'll pass it, but they'll have to get into the courts, and then they'll just be like, they'll get enacted, but then like it'll be just a long process before we can.
I don't think it passes. This thing would have to get through the House and the Senate inside the next year, and that's not happening.
Well, see, that's one of the problems with the Keep Children Safe Online Act is that it's already got, I believe it's 64 co-signers in the House and 70 something co-signers in the Senate. So it's already passed the Senate essentially, and there's nothing written in it yet.
But here's the thing that concerns me is you got these douchebags that have been around since the 90s. We all remember the hot coffee controversy and Mortal Kombat and Night Trap, which is hilarious because that's one of the corniest games ever. That's kind of why it's fun. But it's just like a lot of these people have that mindset, including Trump. Trump is like a video game hater. Like it's just like I'm a big Trump supporter, but I'm just saying like that mindset, they're just thinking once again, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Mm-hmm. They're not looking far enough into the future to see what the ripple effect of this law would be because they just want to keep kids safe. You know whose job that is? Parents. It is the parents' job to keep kids safe. So if you are mailing it in and just putting a tablet in your kid's hands, get off your ass and be a parent. I'm tired of having to deal with the repercussions of you being a lazy piece of shit.
Yep.
You know, Mo, I'm gonna have to disagree with you. I think it's they know exactly what the ripple effects are, and they know exactly what they're doing. It's not like, oh, we're just gonna pass the. They know it's not gonna be to protect kids.
It's about creating a digital ID and being able to track everything you do from your real life to everything you do on the internet. Like we've always talked about how they track us on the internet. They keep an eye on you. It's much harder for them to figure out who you really are, though, because a lot of this stuff is not tied together. But that's why a lot of states start doing the thing where they're like, oh, you can renew your ID online. Give us your email address. Boom. Now your email address is tied to your Twitter account. It's tied to your actual ID. Well, they know who you are, where you are. Like that's the goal of all of this.
Their plans got messed up because Elon but Twitter, and everyone can say
Yes.
whatever they want. Now, the only other way around that is to jam them up with actual law.
Yep. Well, if you guys will give me just another minute, I've got 4 more tabs. We'll run through them and then open this up. So, Keith,
Hayden is a furry, by the way, real quick. Hayden
I'm
is a
not a
furry because
furry.
he passes time in dog years. So 1 minute is 7 minutes.
Well,
So.
yeah, whatever. so
Go
New
ahead, I'm
Keith
just kidding.
posted on Twitter earlier today. His ISP has decided to block access to VPN websites. And you can see here he's tried to get to a couple of different ones, and he's not able to access VPNs at all. Then we have from Sky News, hundreds of thousands of people backlash against internet safety rules. 5 days since Ofcom's new internet regulations began being enforced, nearly 400,000 people have signed a petition asking for them to be repealed. And basically, the government said in the UK, we have no plans to repeal the Online Safety Act. They said, fuck you. Then we have a tiny bit of good news. President Donald Trump has issued a strong warning to the United Kingdom Prime Minister for starting a mass censorship campaign. But that's not actually what happened. Here I have a quick little thread. It says the same thing. Stop threatening Americans' free speech. But he also said the U.S. will not tolerate foreign censorship of our tech companies, our platforms, or our citizens. If you go down here a little bit, the UK's new law lets British regulators fine Apple, X, Truth Social, and others up to 10% of global revenue for whatever they decide to call hate speech. The Trump administration has had enough. We've taken decisive action against foreign actors who engage in extraterritorial censorship, said a State Department official. J.D. Vance warned no free trade without free speech. Congressman Jim Jordan put it bluntly. Ask Apple. They see it as a $500 million attack, and he's right. It's not bad policy. It's a foreign assault. It's already being enforced. UK regulator Ofcom has begun sending legal threats to U.S. companies like Rumble, which we looked at earlier.
Yep.
People are going to jail. A woman is serving 2.5 years just for saying deportation now after a terror incident. Another, a 64-year-old pro-life grandma, was fined $26,000 for praying outside an abortion clinic. J.D. Vance didn't hold back. Free speech in Britain and across Europe is in retreat. That's bad enough. They can't impose it on Americans. We're pushing back with trade leverage, lawsuit, direct pressure. The First Amendment is not negotiable. So basically, what a lot of this looks like to me is that we're fighting back on a financial basis because that's what we can find to fight back on.